Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is Coach's Corner with T.J. Parker, the living legend at Austintown Fitch High School, the head ball coach. We're here at Sam's Wedge Inn, as always, on these Thursday nights. Coach, a big win last week. You guys, like butter, on a roll, man. I mean, it feels like, and I talked to DJ a little bit earlier, since that loss, that it has served as a springboard for you guys going into what is going to be the second half of the season. But you guys, like, you learned a lot from that loss. Like you always talk about, you can learn a lot from losses, you can learn a lot from wins, but you guys have been rolling. Your offense has been hot. What did you see in that Stowe game in particular that you walked away impressed with?
I was just super proud of our guys because I thought in a game like that, we prepared. They presented some issues on film that we thought were going to cause some problems for us. And then we got into the game, and it was one of those games you kind of felt right away where, okay, we got a pretty strong hold here of this game. And when you feel that early, the next worry is, are your kids going to make the right football plays consistently and use this game as another growing tool, or do we get into everybody's trying to make a play, everybody's trying to get theirs, let's do this, let's do that. And I thought all night we just made some really good football plays on both sides of the ball, kept our composure, kept our discipline. So I was really, really pleased with not only our effort, which has been there all year from the guys, but just the way they kept their heads and really honed in on their assignments and doing their job.
I'm a baseball guy, so they always talk about baseball being able to build momentum in that game and carry it over into the next day. Is football the same way? I mean, I know it's tough because you got to go a whole week to get that momentum like chased over, but you guys certainly have some momentum going. How do you keep that from week to week to week, and especially going in this one against Ursuline?
Yeah, I think football is different just because, when you think of like baseball and basketball, the games come up on you so fast. You don't really have time, so it's easier to get over a loss. You move quickly on from a win. It's the next opponent. When you win football games in football, it's that much important because you have this long break. It's easier to get up for practice. It's easier to be motivated in the weight room when you're winning. Right. You know what I mean? And put in those long days and film study and all that. But when you talk about momentum, I think every week brings a different storyline that is created by whatever the opponent brings or your history with the opponent. So there's all those added incentives that kind of create what the week is going to look like and how the kids are going to approach it. And at times it makes it easier to get over a win or a loss with the different storyline that comes.
A lot of storylines in this one, but no motivation needed. Two teams that love to hate each other a little bit. Talk to me about what the Ursuline rivalry means to you and what you've learned about in the last few years of playing the team that they call the U.
Yeah, I think the whole bad blood thing is something that I think is a little overplayed. Like when I think of Ursuline, like it's a mutual respect. Mm-hmm. It's over the years now. I just think you're going to have good players on both sides who are well coached, competitive programs who want to win and want to play in these games. Both players and coaches that are involved in these programs do not like losing. So I think it's built up. It's the Youngstown rivalry. It's who everyone wants to see play each other year in and year out. We take pride in being one of those teams, and I know Ursuline does too. So I think when you look at both teams outside looking in, there's what people may view as like an arrogance to both. It's just, I think, part of winning. And in our town, more often than not, people want to see people fail. And when you have a good thing going, it becomes hard. And then you have two, what I say, like titans clashing. It makes for a good storyline. And I think there's just a mutual respect what we have for them, and we know they have good players. We know they're going to run good schemes. We know they're going to be on our schedule a very tough game. So, I don't want to understate it, overstate it. I think this is keeping our community alive in terms of high school football. There's not too many local big games like this anymore. I thought COVID would help teams play each other more, but that just hasn't been the case.
Right.
There's less and less of these games, and we're proud to be in it. We're excited for tomorrow, but when we've spoke about it in the past. When you look at our schedule, this is another week for us.
I was talking to DJ about, you guys can – I mean, I know you leave it all on the field all the time, but now there's that bye week on the other side. It feels like you can leave 100% out there a little bit. When you have – and this is something that's very ironic because it's not like looking in the mirror. I don't want to compare it to that. But when you look at Ursuline, they've got multiple backs that are featured. You look at Fitch, multiple backs that are featured. You both have kind of the 2 dogs, 1 bone, multiple dogs, 1 bone theory going in the backfield. How do you prepare for that as someone that's going up against multiple backs? And how do you prepare for that as a coach that has multiple dogs that want that bone in the backfield?
Yeah, I think that starts with what I mentioned last week. When you talk about, multiple guys who can make plays and are playmakers that want the bone, you have to be a selfless teammate.
Yeah.
You have to be, and I think that's where these seniors, they have matured. They understand the importance of winning and sacrificing whatever it takes to win. If the play calls for this and my job necessarily is the third read on this, so be it, but I'm going to run the third read as hard as I can. And if 1 and 2 ain't there, you can count on me to be there. So that from an offensive perspective, but when you look at this game and, the offenses are continually hyped up in this series, but from a defensive standpoint, our approach with anyone is we got to take care of ourselves first. Ursuline lines up like plenty of the teams we've seen line up. They just have better guys at those positions. You know what I mean? So we still got to get lined up correctly. We got to play sound football. When our stunts are called, when we have coverages called, we got to be in the right position to put ourselves into make plays. We don't want to have any breakdowns that are self-inflicted wounds. But, when you see these teams and they have special players, okay, it's like, okay, what does the game plan have in it that we can attack to sort of put some of our guys against their guys that help limit what their players can do?
When you look at this, and I know we've talked about the seniors, but we had DJ, we had X on earlier, 2 guys that, both going to Ball State, D1 guys, excited. Neither one of them wanted to talk about the next step. They both wanted to talk about the now. As an 18-year-old, that's very difficult to do, right?
Yeah.
From your standpoint, how fortunate do you feel that you got guys that aren't worried about what's happening tomorrow? They're worried about what's happening in practice every day and what's happening on game day on Friday nights.
Those guys are great. I'm going to say for both of them, it wasn't always like that. You know what I mean? And that's no knock on them. It's just when you have that type of talent, it's hard not to think about what the next step looks like. Yeah. And they both are getting exactly what they deserve. But what makes me proud and for a lot of our players is they're enjoying being a Fitch Falcon. And you know what I mean? It's like they're enjoying being part of our program, being part of our team, being part of all the special things that come out of being our program and being a senior in it. Like, all of that comes with it, like, they love it. And they're kind of reaping the benefits of that, and it's enjoyable for them. And I think they're now realizing, like, as underclassmen, that's hard to see. You always have next year. And understanding that this is their last go-round, they're soaking it in, a lot of it. And you could just tell by the way they approach practice, by how they are in our community, in the schools. It's special to see, and I'm soaking it in too, working with those guys.
When you look at games like you're having on Friday, there's a lot of media attention. There's a lot of bright lights around it, distractions everywhere. Do you have to talk to your guys about the distractions? I mean, you guys are featured on these games a lot. When you look at it, do you have to speak to them about it, or is it something that's just assumed and they know what to do because, you have leaders like X and DJ and Deshaun and all those guys go down the line that kind of handle that for you as field generals?
Yeah, what I will say, it's a different feeling. We have to talk about these guys or I have to talk to the guys because our big games are out of city opponents.
Yep.
It's we're going up there. We don't know their kids. We just know they're a really good football team. We know they're really good players. We know they have a really good staff. This is, you're going into the barber shop. You're sitting here at Sam's Wedge Inn,
Yep.
and DJ and extra, and I got a couple of guys are talking to them about it, or someone says something to them, when they're out to dinner. There's a lot of people that are coming from, out of their houses, want to be there Friday night, and a lot of people have an opinion on this game.
Yeah.
What it's going to look like. So to not get wrapped up in that motion, to have that feeling of what all these people are going to bring to this game, we got to kind of talk to them consistently about how we're going to handle our emotions and how we're going to handle adversity and what we have to do to be successful in that game.
All right, you ready to take it off the field?
Yes.
All right,
Always.
So we've got a big question for you. You've got just so happens we have a big table here, seats 6 or so. You are at a table with 5 others, living, deceased, whatever. Who's sitting at that table with you at dinner?
Oh, man. 5. Usually people pick 1.
See? Got to ramp it up. It's a big week, man.
Man. Wow. 5.
I will tell you that Abe Lincoln has been brought up as a coach's person that they have sit at the table. So
Abe's not one that pops
set
in
that
my
as
head.
your bar.
I'm not an overly religious person.
Okay.
But if he's real, Jesus Christ would be the first
How
one at the table.
unbelievable. Yeah.
He would be first. I would probably, in terms of guys that I would want there, when you think of celebrities and so forth like that, I would probably have Dean Smith and John Wooden.
Okay.
Those 2 guys coaching and just talking to them, I think would be pretty awesome.
Okay. 2 more.
When you get into the deceased, those are tough because, it'd probably be my grandparents.
Yeah.
And, bringing them back and having the chance to talk to them. I'm trying to think one other person. It's a tough question. It'd probably be probably someone like Muhammad Ali.
Really?
Yeah, I think he would be. It'd be him or probably one of the famous war generals, like one of those 2. But Muhammad Ali and I would love to kind of be back in those times and get a feel for that. But yeah, that's probably my round table.
All right.
Not too crazy.
You ready for the backbreaker?
Yes.
What question would you ask any of those people?
Oh,
What would you ask Jesus? Honest to gosh.
what's life after death?
Wow.
I think that's the number one.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's real deep.
Yeah. That's I think that's a pretty good question to ask somebody.
I'd probably start with, how do you walk on water?
Yeah.
Like,
It's better than saying, can you make this water into wine, I guess. But, yeah.
this
Yeah.
last question brought to you by the FCA.
Yeah.
TJ, thank you so much.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank
you,
you,
man,
man.
as always.
Yes.
Be well. Good luck again against Ursuline. No show next week
Yes.
because you have a bye week. We'll take
Right.
the week off of here, but we're going to have a special right here for
Yeah,
Austintown
hope
Fitch.
so.
We're excited for. So good luck to you, and we'll see you in 2 weeks right here at Sam's Wedge Inn.
Thanks, big man.